Hey there, it's Louis Grenier from Hodger, and I am with PayPlayer, who's the founder of Conversion Excel. It's a conversion optimization agency, a conversion optimization blog, the most popular on the internet, I have to say, and finally Conversion Excel Institute, which trains people to improve their optimization, analytics, and UX skills. So Pep, welcome aboard.
Well, thank you for having me. Very kind to invite me.
Yeah, no problem at all. So in this episode, you're going to learn how Pep and his team failed to launch Conversion Excel. They basically had only 1 month left in cash. Why their customer left after a few weeks and what they did about it to make it profitable again. So this is especially interesting to you if you want to understand why customers leave, which is called churn analysis, and also very interesting if you want to understand how customers in general, who they are, what they do, why they do certain things, which is called customer development. So let's dig a little bit more into the situation that of the Conversion Excel Institute that was born around 2 years ago, right?
Yeah. I started the company Conversion Excel, or now we call it CXL, in 2011. And it was just an agency. And we surveyed our email list people, asking them, why, what else would you want to buy if we were smart enough to buy it? And people said courses. So about 2 years ago, I thought, hey, let us start a spin-off business, and we called it CXL Institute. And so in 2016 January, I hired a team to work with me on this. I had product people, researchers, and so on and so forth. And 5 months later, in May the same year, the product was launch ready. So we launched CXL Institute, the first iteration of it, which was a subscription product. It cost $65 a month. And it gave you access to a conversion optimization course. And also we were doing weekly UX research studies. So you would also get access to those studies. We had a launch campaign, which basically was a bunch of emails and blog announcements. So we were marketing to our existing email list. But the launch was didn't go as I had planned in my imagination. So we only made about $25,000 in the first month, which was not even enough to cover our cost. I think my costs, office, salaries, everything else was about $50,000 a month. So it's like, okay, so I had been losing money preparing for this launch and still losing money, but June will be better. But in June, we made even less money. In July, we made even less money. In August, even less. And in September, we made just $10,000. And we had depleted the cash reserves. And so we had only enough money left for 1 month to pay salaries for the team. And so I was ready to pull the plug in 30 days and tell everybody, sorry, I have to let you go because I'm out of money. Yet the next month, we turned it around. We made $75,000 in revenue. So it means we turned a small profit. And, we lived happily ever after.
So let me ask you some detailed questions, because this is a very interesting snapshot. How many email subscribers did you have in your list when you email people about CXL Institute?
I think at the time we probably had around 50,000 or so.
Okay. So 50,000 people on your list and 25,000. Was it 25,000 in sales when you launched the first
25,000 in revenue, yes. So, 50,000 email in the email list, open rate. I mean, I don't remember it by heart, but, maybe 25%, something like this. Click-through rate, probably, even worse, much, much worse compared to open rate. So I'm not sure how many people we actually had consuming the offer or the multiple emails that we sent, but definitely the launch campaign could have been better as well. So yeah, it didn't go so well.
So you had 1 month of cash reserve left and you were about to pull the plug. What did you decide to do?
Of course, it wasn't that now that we are all out of money, now we start thinking maybe we should change something. We were thinking what to change all along because we knew the ship was sinking because every single month we had less and less money. So throughout these months of losing money, we were doing multiple things. We were very frantic about customer development, meaning that everybody who canceled, say it was a subscription product, everybody who canceled, we sent them an email, tried to get them on the phone, asking, why did you cancel? What did you not like? How could we improve? Also onboarding, when people joined, we call them up, say, hey, thank you for joining. What do you think? So we started to get qualitative feedback from people who are canceling, people who are using. So that was one thing that we did. Another thing we did was we were doing quantitative churn analysis. Essentially, everybody who canceled, and on average, people were canceling, some after 1 month, some after 2 months, 3 months. Our history wasn't huge, right, at that time. And so we wanted to see what's the difference between people who churned right away, maybe after 1 month, and who are still users. What's the difference between those two groups? And what we learned was that there was only one thing that we could see, which was company size. Bigger companies stayed on as subscribers, smaller companies churned. And so our hypothesis based on that was that, smaller companies just have less money to spend, especially in education. Also, in our interviews with the small company people, we learned that they are very tactics oriented. So they wanted something that I can implement right now and make money right now, versus bigger companies thinking long term, thinking strategy, because they have the luxury to think long term. So one of the things we did was, based on this information, we decided to change who we're after. We thought we are targeting small businesses, people who can't afford our agency. But actually, the target audience turned out is the same audience that uses our agency services. So companies, ideal customer is somebody who makes at least $10 million a year online. And agencies is the one rare exception where small business that thinks long term, invests in education, is used to paying for it. So that was one thing. Another thing we learned from our qualitative service research was that some people just completed the CRO course, even though every single month we added new content. But some people were eager; they just completed. Oh yes, I finished it. So why keep on paying? It's like, well, you have a point there. So what do we do then? And then it's like, we need other stuff for these people to buy. So we need more. We need more products to sell, essentially. And we started to think what those could be. Could we do more courses, and what those could be? Another thing we saw in the data was that a lot of people who were churning were actually not consuming the content. So while some people finished everything and that was good, that was not the case for most. Most bought the course, logged in, and never logged back in again. Or maybe they logged in twice. And then we learned that this is not just, at first we thought it's us. And then we learned this is the learning industry. It's the same problem for Udemy, Udacity, Coursera, edX, everybody. Like the people who invested all this money with Coursera and Udacity, I don't think they're ever getting their money back because the completion rates are horrible. It's like 10, 12% of people who enroll in a course. And then I thought, I've been running these conversion coaching programs for many years now, and high ticket, like $2,000. And these were very high engagement rates. So, and the only difference was that I was delivering the classes live. And then we thought, why don't we add on another product that will be a live course, a live online sessions, kind of like, webinar type of situation. And I don't scale, so how about we recruit another expert to teach this course? And so we did. So the first, we added on a new product, which is another training, using a third-party trainer, and that made a huge difference. And ever since then, we're producing 2 new live courses every single month because the format works. People learn better, we make money too. Yes, and then the completion rates for these live courses is way higher.
Well, so that's great delivery of the story. Let's break it down practically for people, I guess, who are interested in doing the same in their own business, and perhaps they struggle with the same struggles that you had when you started the institute.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back to customer development, because you said a few very interesting things. So first of all, you did interviews and surveys.
Right.
How did you go with that?
So we agreed on a protocol that every single time somebody signs up, that we basically sent them a welcome email. Oh, thank you for joining. By the way, would you have time to hop on a 10-minute phone call with us? Most did not, but enough people did. So we started to get people on Skype calls and online meetings with us, or just phone calls, and then we developed like a interview set of questions, and we had two people basically as part of the daily routine call up maybe 5, 10, 15 people a day.
Okay.
So that was one. The cancellation.
So let me cut you right there. Let me cut you right there, because I think we need to dig a bit deeper again into this. So you had two people. Part of their routine every day was to call those people. And what is the rough amount of people who agreed to be on a call with you from those emails? Do you remember?
Not very many. I would say the less than 10% for sure. Okay. Maybe 8% would be the right ballpark. So most people don't. They did reply that, oh yeah, well, thanks for the offer, but no thanks. People are busy, they have their own lives. It's okay. So we didn't let ourselves be discouraged by the low response rate.
What questions did you ask them?
We wanted to understand who they are, what made them sign up, which problem they are solving for themselves, how are they going to use this knowledge. Basically, really trying to understand who these people are, what are they trying to get out of it. And then we would also do a small walkthrough of the product, or, look in here for this thing and look in here for that thing that you might need. So it was mostly about figuring out who they are and what they want, and then informing our product. And, that we coupled with actual analytics, because we had analytics. What are people doing inside our product? And like, for instance, I said that when we launched, we also had weekly UX research studies, and people were not consuming those based on analytics. And when people were on the onboarding calls,